I think since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been as organized offensively. Too many random possessions, so.
Everything completely blew up inside the Lakers locker room, and almost nobody saw it coming. According to people directly tied to the team, JJ Redick and LeBron went at it hard, full-on verbal clash, and it all traces back to one Christmas clip that went viral and wouldn't die down. This wasn't some small disagreement either. I've got the inside story, the behind-the-scenes tension, and the real breakdown of what actually went down and why this moment could hit LeBron's legacy harder than people think. Trust me, you don't want to skip this, because this could seriously signal the beginning of the end of his run in LA. If you watched that Lakers game against the Rockets, you already felt it. The crash-out energy made sense until LeBron came back and sucked the air out of the building, killing the momentum and hijacking the flow. The crazy part, the Lakers were quietly cooking before that. And when I say quietly, I mean no highlight circus, just clean basketball and real wins. Early in the season, LeBron had to step away with an injury. And honestly, it felt like a blessing for anyone who wanted to see the team actually play together. In the first 14 games without him, the Lakers went 11-3, proving they didn't just survive, they thrived. They weren't scraping by either. They were sharp, efficient, and low-key fun to watch. The offense looked organized, confident, and flat-out competent. By early December, they ranked top 5 in offensive efficiency, putting up around 115 points per 100 possessions.
It's a matter of making the choice. And too often we have guys that don't want to make that choice. And it's pretty consistent who those guys are. And so Saturday's practice, I told the guys, it's going to be uncomfortable. The meeting is going to be uncomfortable. I'm not doing another 53 games like this.
Luka Dončić was running the floor like he'd been there for years, stacking points and assists while creating clean looks for everyone. Austin Reeves wasn't just scoring. He was picking his spots, dropping 30+ in multiple games, throwing dimes, and attacking with zero fear. That stretch reminded everyone why he's a fan favorite, plain and simple. Then you had Rui Hachimura doing his thing, spacing the floor, switching on defense, and flashing that versatility everyone keeps waiting on. Piece by piece, everything was clicking, and it didn't feel forced at all.
Your coach told us he planned for it to be a bad day. He said it'd be an uncomfortable day for the team.
And y'all bought into that.
Please listen.
Yeah, y'all told him. Believed him. I'm not going to tell y'all. I'm not saying anything.
Look at November 15th, 2025. During the NBA Cup run, the Lakers lined up against the Pelicans and handled business. No drama, no panic. Luka poured in 24 points and 12 assists, running the show like a seasoned vet. Reeves went wild with 31 points, plus 8 assists, and absolutely owned the glass with 20 rebounds. Rui added 14 points, steady and clean. And yeah, all of this happened without LeBron. No hero ball, no ego plays, no bailout shots. Nobody had to force anything because the system was doing the heavy lifting.
Not everybody could go up to LeBron and think they could tell LeBron how to do certain things. And
fast forward to December 1st, 2025, same matchup, same result, same energy. Luka dropped 34. Reeves answered with 33 points and 8 assists. And Ayton was a problem inside all night. The team shot efficiently, rotation stayed tight, and spacing was on point. Fans could actually relax and watch basketball instead of screaming at the screen. This was what functional basketball looked like. Period. Defensively, the chemistry was real too. The Lakers were giving up around 108 points per 100 possessions, putting them in the league's upper tier. Rotations were sharp, young guys stayed disciplined, and accountability was built in. Nobody needed to bark orders. It just happened, which says a lot for a roster learning on the fly. And the best part? The system itself. Ball movement, spacing, off-ball cuts, smart reads, all of it flowing naturally. No one-player crutch, no isolation spam, and every young guy got room to shine without getting crushed under the weight of you-know-who. So yeah, by early December 2025, before LeBron came back full-time, the Lakers weren't just stacking wins. They were building a real identity. They looked like an actual team, moving together, playing disciplined, coached-up basketball. The way pros are supposed to. And then LeBron returned. And just like that, everything they built disappeared. Gone. No slow fade either. It was instant. You didn't need a microscope to see the shift. The same group that was humming like a machine suddenly looked off, disconnected, annoyed, and out of sync. The numbers backed it up fast. That elite defensive rating of 108 points per 100 possessions exploded to 117.8 almost overnight. That's not a small bump. That's a full-on collapse. In the 6 games after his return, the Lakers went 2-4, and it gets uglier when you realize they lost to teams they had handled easily just weeks earlier. Mid-December was supposed to be momentum season. Instead, it turned into a case study on how deep one superstar can drag a franchise down. Now let's talk box plus minus, because the stats don't lie. Over 13 games, LeBron posted a minus 4.5, while Luka sat at plus 2.6 and Reeves at plus 2.9. That's not noise, that's a loud signal. The young guys were lifting the team and LeBron was holding it back. And if you still need proof, remember how smooth they looked without him? Yeah. Once he came back, anytime LeBron, Luka, and Reeves shared the floor, the Lakers got outscored by 10 points over 132 minutes. So even with 2 rising stars cooking, his presence was a net negative, no debate. And that's not leadership. That's dead weight, a straight-up ball and chain. The on-court and off-court metrics somehow make it even uglier. The numbers don't bend, and in this case, they're ruthless. In one game, LeBron put up 18 points and still walked away with a minus 33 box plus minus. Let that sink in. In the very same game, another teammate scored 0 points and finished at minus 29. Yeah, the so-called king hurt the team more than someone who didn't score at all. But it wasn't just about stats. The eye test was rough. Instead of elite basketball, we watched LeBron barking at refs, looking more like a sitcom extra than a leader. Defensive rotations got ignored while teammates scrambled like it was a fire drill. Honestly, it felt like watching a basketball glitch happen in real time. And if you followed the Lakers long enough, this wasn't shocking at all. It felt like deja vu from the 2020 to 2021 season. Back then, the roster had talent, a working system, real structure, and the moment LeBron hit the floor, different rules applied. The front office looked the other way. Accountability vanished. And now it's the same script, just louder. The difference this time, we just watched this team function without him weeks earlier. That's what lit the fuse and led to JJ Redick and LeBron finally clashing. By the time JJ Redick stepped into that post-game press conference, this thing was way past basketball. This wasn't just another L. This was Christmas Day against the Houston Rockets, national TV, holiday spotlight, and the Lakers got smacked 119-96. And even that score was softened by a little luck and a few isolated flashes. That wasn't basketball. That was a breaking point. If you actually watched the game, you know the Rockets had it locked up early. By the third quarter, they were moving freer, faster, and fully connected. Meanwhile, the Lakers looked like a group of strangers arguing over basic rotations like it was their first practice together. And here's the part that really matters. This wasn't happening before LeBron came back. That's the exact mess JJ Redick walked into when he sat down for the post-game press conference. You could hear it immediately. This wasn't one of those fake, we'll watch the tape answers. His tone was sharper, heavier, and way more serious. That line hit hard because everyone who watched the game knew exactly what he meant. Then he doubled down. No hesitation. And right there, it was obvious who he was talking about. Everyone in that room felt it, even if nobody said the name out loud. What made it worse? What happened next? DeAndre Ayton didn't back his coach, didn't take it seriously. He laughed it off afterward like Redick had told a joke. And that reaction told you everything. When a head coach calls out professionalism after a national TV embarrassment and players brush it off, that's fear culture. That's players knowing exactly who the message was aimed at and being too scared to own it. And it all circles back to LeBron because this league has a long, ugly history when it comes to coaches or players who challenge him. Everybody knows what happens when you criticize him, even a little. If you're not a coach or a superstar with real leverage, you're gone. Simple as that. And this isn't some conspiracy talk. It's a documented pattern. Go back to Cleveland. David Blatt had the Cavs winning, sitting near the top of the conference, and everything looked stable. The moment his relationship with LeBron got shaky, none of that mattered. Blatt was fired mid-season. Results be damned. All it took was LeBron walking into the front office and boom, problem solved. Fast forward to LA and it's the same script. Frank Vogel delivered a championship in 2020. Banner raised, job done. Then the team hit turbulence, and instead of LeBron owning it as the leader, Vogel became the fall guy. Fired. Accountability vanished. Even Eric Spoelstra almost didn't make it. People forget how close that was. Remember that infamous sideline moment when LeBron bumped him during a heated timeout? That could have ended everything right there. Spo survived only because Pat Riley didn't blink. Institutional power mattered. But most franchises don't have a Pat Riley, and the Lakers definitely don't. So when JJ Redick stepped to the mic and spoke the way he did, he wasn't just venting, he was forcing the organization to choose professional standards or superstar comfort. And history tells you how that choice usually goes. That's why the press conference felt nuclear. This wasn't emotional, it was calculated. Redick picked that moment because the entire league had just watched the same mess he did. And fans are exhausted with this modern NBA culture where coaches exist to protect stars instead of demanding effort. Redick put professionalism above optics. He broke the #1 unwritten rule: don't embarrass the star. And that's what made it feel reckless in the best way. For once, someone inside the Lakers building treated LeBron like a player, not an untouchable symbol. But in the NBA, that always comes with consequences. The real question wasn't whether Redick was right, it was whether he'd be allowed to survive being right. And while Redick was laying down the law, the players weren't exactly backing him up. You could feel it in the locker room. That unspoken rule kicking in, don't cross LeBron, top of form. That fear, that hesitation to actually speak up is exactly what's been dragging the Lakers down long before it ever showed up in the box score. And it's not subtle at all. Remember earlier that season when DeAndre Ayton admitted that not everyone feels comfortable telling LeBron certain things on the court. Not everybody can just walk up to LeBron and think they can correct him or challenge a decision. At first, it sounded like normal locker room talk, but now it hits very different. Because Ayton is one of LeBron's trusted guys, ride or die type. So if even he's holding back, that tells you the fear runs deep. And it's not just one player either. Around the league, people have been buzzing about how LeBron's presence kills accountability, and the numbers back it up. Meanwhile, Luka Dončić couldn't be more different. He's one of the most valuable assets the Lakers have right now. Maybe the most, but he plays like someone still earning respect, not demanding it. He listens, executes, lifts teammates up, and thrives inside the system. And remember, he hasn't even been there a full year. When Luka's on the floor, he doesn't command attention. He earns it. Smart reads, fast pace, real standards. The kind that had been missing. That's why Redick snapping wasn't just drama. It was a disruption of a system built to let excuses slide. And speaking of Luka, fans have been begging the front office to shift focus toward him. And honestly, you can't blame them. By the time Luka officially landed in LA, the Lakers were already deep in LeBron chaos. He didn't just join a roster, he stepped into a narrative. A locker room shaped by fear and the idea that one guy was untouchable. Luka made it clear early. This wasn't a participation trophy situation. The Lakers traded for him in a move that shocked the entire league and almost instantly locked him in with a 3-year, $165 million extension. That wasn't just a paycheck. That was a message, a loud one. Luka was the future, and the Lakers were all in. With Luka running things, the Lakers played faster than they ever did under LeBron. The pace jumped, the reads were quicker, and the ball didn't stick. And the spacing, night and day. Every cut, every pass, every pick and roll finally had room to breathe. Offensively, the efficiency took off. Luka stepped into the same system and made it hum again, but this time without the ego baggage. Same structure, same concepts, just cleaner execution. Defensively, the contrast was wild. LeBron's return dragged the defensive rating down by nearly 10 points per 100 possessions, while Luka's presence historically pushed it the other way. Luka's arrival felt like those franchise-defining moments, similar to Durant heading to Brooklyn or Giannis rising in Milwaukee. He came in with a clear mandate: be the cornerstone, carry the team forward. But unlike Brooklyn's chemistry issues, Luka fit immediately. Young roster, coachable players, no drama. He mixed elite talent with a team-first mindset, lifting teammates instead of overpowering them. And while Luka quietly tried to stabilize what was left of this squad, the fan base lost its mind. LeBron diehards went wild online, pushing ideas that sounded less like basketball and more like fantasy wish lists built to protect their guy. And the wildest take of all, trade Luka. Yeah, trade the one player actually stabilizing the locker room, organizing the offense, and fixing spacing, just to make LeBron more comfortable. Some even suggested flipping him for role players and picks, like Luka was just another pawn in a LeBron loyalty game. That's how upside down the conversation got. That was peak foolishness. Honestly, one of the most delusional takes out there. The stats we already laid out made it crystal clear. This wasn't a talent issue. It was one problem, and everyone knows the name. Still, LeBron's fans ignored the evidence and jumped straight to fantasy trade ideas, like swapping players would magically fix a broken structure. Here's the funny part, though. Even the front office figured it out. Quietly, they started taking control back. Moves that once needed LeBron's blessing started happening without it. And Luka, through his play and influence, is becoming the real power center in that building. Decisions are shifting, energy is shifting, and if you think this is just another aging superstar phase, nah, this is different. To really understand how wild this is, you have to look at history. Superstars dragging teams down isn't new, but this situation hits different. Take Kevin Durant and Brooklyn Nets back in 2021. That first season was supposed to be perfect. KD, Kyrie, Harden, a super team on paper. But what did we get? Isolation-heavy offense, chemistry issues, playoff meltdowns, you remember. Still, even then, the damage was mostly about flow, not fundamentals. The defense didn't completely collapse. The team still had a baseline identity. KD hurt cohesion, sure, but he didn't tear the floor out from under them. LeBron, different story. He's not just isolating. He's wrecking the defensive foundation while acting like nothing's wrong. And look at Allen Iverson with the Philadelphia 76ers. AI could score from anywhere, but his defense was shaky at best. Still, Philly made deep playoff runs, and that slid because A, I wasn't the most protected, highest paid force in the league. That's the difference. One was flawed brilliance. This is entitlement with consequences. Shaq in 2007 and 2008 was clearly aging, banged up, and dealing with real locker room tension with Kobe. But even that never reached the point where a head coach publicly checked him the way JJ Redick did to LeBron. Calling out a superstar on Christmas Day is almost unheard of. You can count on one hand how many times coaches have done that. And I know the question already. If it's really this bad, why is he still so involved? Simple. Even if LeBron isn't locked in on making the team better, he's mastered one thing better than anyone: perception. Movies, ads, social media, charity work. He's everywhere. He's not just a player anymore. He's a walking brand, and the NBA is his stage. And here's where it gets crazy. The more people see that polished version, the easier it is to hide what's actually happening on the court. His media machine keeps pushing the King James narrative, so most fans never see the damage underneath. Now compare that to Luka Dončić. He landed in LA with zero entourage drama, no cameras chasing his warm-ups, no meme factory spinning every dribble. He doesn't need hype. He earns it. And unlike LeBron, the media can't manufacture Luka's story. His efficiency, impact, and defensive numbers tell it for him. No spin needed. You can already feel the shift. Fans are tagging Luka as the new face of LA basketball. Meanwhile, LeBron's media persona feeds itself. Debates swirl around him. Should trades revolve around him? Should he get the ball more? Should the team bend backward for him? That's the problem. Perception is driving basketball decisions instead of basketball shaping how people see him. And here's the brutal truth. This situation isn't just embarrassing, it's actively rewriting LeBron's legacy. The self-proclaimed king, once untouchable, is now dragging his own team down because he refuses to walk away. How are you over 40 and still letting ego hurt the team you're supposed to lead? Now compare that to Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. Comfort zones didn't exist for them. Accountability wasn't optional. It was law. You messed up, you got corrected on the spot. Effort stayed at max every night, and the team always came first. That's exactly why Luka Dončić and JJ Redick look like the real heroes in LA right now. Luka is young, coachable, relentless, and most importantly, he leads by example. He's doing what this team has needed for years. And Redick, he's the fire starter, calling people out, demanding standards, and forcing accountability where none existed. Together, they're the pivot, the reset button this franchise desperately needs. This is the Lakers' one real shot at chasing a title with structure, effort, and discipline instead of leaning on a superstar clinging to past glory. This shouldn't be about ego. It's about survival. The Lakers need to stop pretending a 41-year-old can carry this roster. This is Luka's era, period. Now the front office, the coaching staff, and the fans all face a choice. Keep babysitting LeBron James and watch the roster collapse. Or pivot fully, put Luka at the center, demand accountability. Because the real question isn't whether the Lakers need change. It's whether they have the courage to let the real leader run the show.